This structure right here, folks, is known as the loom room, and our good friend Danielle is going to come down here in just a little bit and show us everything in here. I'm just going to take a quick glance for now, and believe it or not, this loom that you're seeing, and she's going to tell you about it, is 200 years old, and it is a functional loom. And we'll see all these other goodies in just a little bit. Now back in the day, as you could tell, the one thing that was missing from in there was a refrigerator. But they had Mother Nature helping with that. And down here you'll see the original spring house they used to keep goodies cooled and make them last longer so they wouldn't spoil. And here's some of the wildlife you might run into while you're here. The nice thing about this place is you can take self-guided tours for free. And you can take guided tours as well. I'm going to furnish the website information in a description portion of today's show. And it's a great place to bring your family out at. At any rate, the way this worked was the cool water would channel through here, and you would just put your food or goodies in here, you know, keep them cooler so they wouldn't spoil as quickly. And it is quite a bit cooler. This building over here would have been the corn crib. Let's give you a quick view of that. Good thing about these structures is the fact that no matter what side you come to, at least you've got a welcoming doorway and some steps.
So this is where we house our textile materials. So textiles is kind of like an umbrella term for cloth or cloth adjacent objects. So like knit, weave, stuff of the like. So this building originally wasn't meant for that purpose. Per some of our records, we don't have a ton because this was kind of the 60s. Stuff happened. Okay. This was originally some sources the McCall farm that was on Newbert Springs. Parts of the structure was, but it got moved here. But it is from the same time period and it's from the same region. Okay. And it's the same architectural style, so it stands to reason to have it here.
So this was built about what time, give or take?
Originally, like the timbers, like the original version of it, early 1800s.
Early 1800s. Okay, wow.
Yeah.
So folks, we're touring a building that's over 200 years old.
Pretty much more like right at.
Right at 200 years old. Yeah, that's true.
So this right here is our over 200-year-old loom. So a loom is how you make woven clothing, or even like woven rugs, like the rug you see there, or like the table runners you see up here.
Were those made from this very loom?
No, but on a similar type.
Gotcha. Okay.
So what this is a traditional Appalachian two-heddle, two-treadle loom. Treadles and heddles, they sound like funny words.
Okay.
But heddles are these knots here. See?
Okay. Oh, I see. Yes.
And these bars here are called heddle bars. Okay. And this is like the heddle bar up there. And down there, not pedals, but treadles. See?
Oh, okay. So you put your foot on the treadle.
So what it does is, and I can show you a bit better in the miniature on a smaller loom, okay?
Okay.
Is if traditional weaving is you go over and under, right?
Yes.
If you had to pick apart each thread, especially let's say if you had a bolt of cloth that went the entire width of this,
yes,
it would take you forever to go over and under by hand, right?
I can only imagine.
Right. So what this does, it speeds up the process tremendously by basically you have all your overs separated from your unders.
Okay.
All you have to do is just put a foot on there and you basically swap which set of threads is on top.
Okay.
And the space you create here, this is called the shed. And what you do is you pass,
Certainly.
You pass this device here. This is called a shuttle.
Okay.
See? You pass it through the shed and you create another line. Now these lines here there's actually two words for what you use when you're weaving.
Okay.
So what you see already set up, that is the standard part of your weaving, is called your warp. So when you are setting up your loom, you're warping your loom. I know it sounds very Star Trek.
No, it's pretty cool, and so, my viewers I think are going to love to hear all this too. Yeah,
and then when you add thread, going your left and right as you create, is called your weft. Now, some of those words you still use today. So like a lot of young ladies, when they want to go get hair extensions, they buy wefts of hair extensions to add to the warp of your own hair. So you add the wefts, your left and right, clips, to the warp of your own hair. So if that helps add a bit of context to it.
Yeah, that makes sense in a roundabout way.
Yeah, but this does help speed things up. So the reason we know that this loom is over 200 years old is another part to it. So this bar here, this is our beater bar and our reed. So what this does, this helps us kind of line up our stitches as we make them.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So that, oh wow, it goes right through there. Okay, I see.
So this reed is new, but it basically allows us to keep using it as we go, because traditionally these were made from literal reeds. We still have the ones that we've pulled off in the past.
Okay.
But the reason we know it's over 20 years old is this mechanism here. It is like a rocking chair, or a rocking horse.
Okay.
And that's how we can date it, because of blacksmithing techniques at the time of trying to make like a round nail to make as your hinge wasn't available. And if that wasn't available, this is what you did instead. Wow. So that's how we know when it was, because this is before circular nails, round nails.
Gotcha, okay.
Now, do you know how much effort it took to make clothes back then?
I can't even, I mean, I look at this and I'm just stunned.
The thing is, you're only looking at kind of like the middle part of the process. So the beginning is you need a sheep, or you need some flax, or you need cotton, right? Those are called fibers. Those are your base materials. Okay. And when you process those, you can eventually turn those into thread, or yarn, however thick you want it. But all of that does take a ton of processing time.
I can't even imagine. I mean,
so as to make it a bit more quick and easy to explain, there was a study that a bunch of experimental archaeologists did in Norway. It was either in 2016 or 2017. I keep forgetting. Where they took and they actually timed themselves for how long it took to make a child's Viking era garment. They technically made two at the end of this study, so you could either split the time in half, but it was just more like they had enough material to go and make two. It took them 800 hours to make two children's tunics, simple tunics.
So basically 4 months if you're working 8-hour days to make, oh my gosh, that's incredible.
So to also kind of blow your mind on that one, let's imagine we can split that in half, yeah? So 400 hours for one, 400 hours for the other. And let's say you were charging $15 an hour. Simple rate, yeah? For just labor. Labor alone. We're not even talking about materials.
Whew.
It would cost you $6,000 in labor alone for 400 hours to go for one children's shirt. So Today, when we think about clothes and sizes, we think of it in the context of catalogs. You have to think about before there were catalogs.
Right.
Basically, everything you made was hyper adjustable. So, for example, the breeches that George Washington was wearing, they actually tied in the back here.
Okay.
And if you ever notice that you as a gentleman, every time you have to wear a waistcoat for an event, there is kind of a dummy, cinch
Yeah,
in the
like
back.
like a little strap that you can cinch it with. Yes.
Imagine if there was lacing or an actual adjustability portion back there.
When I was in the Navy, we used to on our well, we called them Cracker Jacks, but on our dress uniform, on the slacks, there was actually a place back there where you tied them. So I know what you're talking about.
For example, I'm wearing a skirt today that is done kind of in likeness, not exactly historical, but in the same fashion of that it is adjustable to where I tie it on and it adjusts to where my body is today.
Gotcha. Okay.
So again, with all the tremendous amount of effort and money and not even real money, a lot of times it was barter you put into it, you made sure those clothes are going to fit you a long time.
What are we looking at here?
This is called an inkle loom, I-N-K-L-E.
Okay.
Now this is a loom you can use to make like edgings, you can make belts, you can make detail work,
wow.
lacings, all kinds of things. I have one at home that I have operated and I know how they work.
Okay.
So remember how I was telling you about those heddle knots over there?
Yes.
You have your heddle knots here.
Oh, okay.
They're the same ones, but instead of having the heddle bar or the treadles to be the one to move it, you do it manually with your hands.
Oh, look at that.
See, I create the shed here, and then I just can tug on these and make that separation here.
Look at that.
And again, I have my shuttle here, and I can create more lines of weft as we go. Again, I just mostly use this for a demonstration to basically show how you can make these easy things. So we have 3 different types of spinning wheels over here. I'll make sure you grab one more thing to show you.
Oh, sure.
Because there's one more portion to go with it.
Okay.
Okay, come on. So spinning wheels are relatively new-ish technology because we've been able to use spinning wheels since, I'm going to say Iron Age, not even Iron Age, like 1st century, 2nd century-ish.
Okay.
Like spinning wheels have been around for a while. However, we've been spinning for far longer using a device that looks like this. This is called a drop spindle. They don't always look like this.
Okay.
In fact, sometimes you'll see versions of this where this piece here is made out of stone, it's made out of ceramic,
Okay.
but a lot of times they are made out of wood, which is why we're missing them in like archaeology. But we have found these pieces as far back as Neanderthal digs.
Really?
You would basically take this is basically detangled wool to hook here and then use that torsion to drop and spin.
Wow.
You're gonna find like pictures of like women all the way back to like ancient Egypt, ancient Samaria, basically holding one of these and then a stick with this called a distaff as they're spinning. And if you ever want to see a picture of the original ancient Greek fates who are spinning your fate, they're using these devices.
My goodness sakes.
Yeah, so these spinning wheels are of different types. So this one is called a walking wheel.
Okay.
This one actually needs a lot of space to operate. You actually are walking perpendicular to it back and forth as you spin. I may actually put the thread onto the spindle here.
Okay.
And so yes, the same way that that spindle is using the weight of dropping to spin, I'm using the force of this wheel to do the spinning. And you basically would be spinning like this, walking back and forth. So
Oh,
it's called a
wow.
walking wheel. Now, sometimes if you want to be able to maybe have a sit, we have these. These are more of a sitting style of spinning wheel. This one's called a castle wheel. It actually has a little pedal down there, kind of like an old school singer.
Oh yeah, look at that.
She's not exactly in good repair right now for me to be able to show you that because this part needs a little bit of work, but it's kind of hard to get the correct parts for that because
Gotcha.
it's so old.
I was gonna say,
This
how
one's a
long
bit
set
more of
this-
a modern recreation that sometimes a friend of mine that comes by and does some spinning sometimes uses to show off with. But you can see where that piece should be working here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
And this one here, is it?
This is not a spinning wheel.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
You ever heard of a children's riddle or a children's song called Pop Goes the Weasel?
Yes.
This is called a weasel.
That's a weasel.
And
Okay.
it does go pop.
It does pop. Okay.
Yes. So
That's amazing.
this is actually a calculator.
A calculator.
Mm-hmm. This is how I'm able to calculate how much of my thread to go on my loom. So
Oh.
one go around is a pop, one. And basically this would be a children's chore as well to teach them counting because you're going to basically shout at them, I need 50 pops, I need 100 pops, I need to go around. And that's what you have here is, and that's how you create a skein or, a ball of yarn.
Yes.
Skein. And so you can
Okay.
see how I can get that off of a weasel.
Yeah, oh, I see.
Yeah. And it's how, again, counting. It's an abacus just for this. Now, that's anything, you don't know what that is.
Is that flax? Yeah, okay.
Flax, it creates linen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, not a whole lot of people know that flax and linen are the same thing, but linen's actually kind of magic when it comes to clothing. Thing is, the more you wash linen, the stronger it gets. And it's very breathable, it's very hardy, and it's easy to repair because you can actually spin it so finely. Same goes for cotton. If you can do cotton just right and you actually spin it so finely, you can make it near transparent. In fact, that's actually a skill that's been lost. However, there are some researchers trying to resurrect it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Danielle, I want to thank you so much for allowing myself and my guests come in today and take a tour of this wonderful place. And we're going to end with this building over here, which, believe it or not, excuse me, is actually a tavern. And this was not original to the property, but they brought it over here. And Danielle had shared with me that at one time John Sevier worked in a tavern, or pub if you will. It looks very welcoming, actually. Look at all this amazing stuff. Well, as you can see, dollar doesn't have the same buying power today that it did back then. Oh, mercy. Can you imagine how much business was done at this table? My goodness. They didn't have plastic cups back then, so you would use pewter tankards for your drinks. And this upstairs was not for the owner of the tavern. This was actually for guests. So when they came in, you know, they would have their supper, their drinks, and this was also an inn upstairs, so they had a place to sleep at. I guess to sleep it off if they'd had maybe a little bit too much. And we'll just walk around the outside, front and back, so you can take a quick gander at everything.